Hello my dear students and welcome to Zenith Academy Online. My name is Fatima Vora and I am your English teacher for today. Today we are going to cover a very important topic of phrases and clauses, which is basic, important yet very confusing. So today we will be covering the basics of it, the types of phrases and clauses, and at the end we will be solving a lot of questions so that you are completely aware of the topic and you will score really well at it. First, we will see the similarities between phrases and clauses. Just like these two, very much identical but yet two different beings. So, the similarities between phrases and clauses are that both phrases and clauses are a group of words. Now, group of words means 2-3 words combined. You can either form a phrase out of it or a clause out of it. Both convey some basic meaning. Means it is not meaningless. You will not feel that somebody is speaking absurd, but some basic meaning is conveyed in both phrases and clauses. So how do we identify whether it is a phrase or it is a clause? Let's move ahead to the differences and identification between phrases and clauses. The first point and the very important point in identification of phrase is it does not have a subject-verb combination and it is used as a single unit in a sentence. Means the entire phrase whenever we are speaking is used as a single unit. If we break those words, they will not convey any meaning. Whereas in a clause, it has a subject-verb combination. Subject is a noun, a person, a thing on which a particular verb is acting, and a verb is an action word which conveys a certain action happening in the particular sentence. Now, in a phrase, it does not convey complete meaning or logic. Now, what does this mean? That we will understand better when we look into the examples. Clauses. It conveys complete meaning. Means when you are reading a particular clause, you will understand the complete meaning of what that sentence conveys. Example, near the bed. Near the bed, near is a preposition and bed is an object. So there is no subject or verb in this particular group of words. So this is a phrase. Here the example is John sat near the bed. Now the phrase near the bed is used along with a subject John and a verb sat. So it conveys the complete meaning, shows the position or action of a particular subject, and that is why it is a clause. Now let's see it once again. So what did we learn here? We learned that phrase has no subject-verb combination, whereas a clause has a subject-verb combination. This is the most important and a basic key point to identify a phrase and a clause. Here in near the bed there is no subject-verb combination, but this is a meaningful group of words. Here John is a subject, sat is a verb, and this group of words is a phrase. So when you use the phrase along with a subject and a verb, it completely becomes a clause. Let's move ahead. Now, here we are going to learn the types of phrases. Basic point to remember is there is no subject-verb combination and the phrases are divided into 5 types depending on what that phrase focuses. Like in the last slide which we saw was near the bed, where near is a preposition, where you come to know about the position of some unidentified object which is near the bed. So this becomes the prepositional phrase. Now let's see here. First we have a noun phrase which focuses on the noun. Verb phrase where a particular verb or an action word is under the focus of that phrase. Third is the adjective phrase. Fourth is the adverb phrase, and prepositional phrase like the one we saw before. Let's move ahead, kids. First one, noun phrases. Key point to remember here, once again I have highlighted it, that a phrase does not have a subject-verb combination. Noun phrase emphasizes on the noun in the phrases. Let's see the example. My lovely daughter. My lovely daughter is a group of words. It describes a noun, my daughter. But what? What am I trying to say about my daughter? That meaning is not conveyed. That is why it is a phrase and not a clause. The largest city. Where I am talking about a city which is large. But which city, what I want to convey about that particular city is not conveyed. If I say Mumbai is the largest city, then my meaning is conveyed, that what I want to say. But here no city is identified, that is why this is just a phrase. The coziest room. I am talking about a room which is cozy. But what I want to convey about that room, whether it is my room or I like that room, that is not conveyed. There is no verb or subject over here. Let's once again take a look at noun phrases, where the noun phrases focuses on the daughter, which is a noun, the city, the room, and it specifically talks about daughter being lovely, city being the largest, and the room being coziest. Let's move ahead to the next type. The second type of phrases is the verb phrase. Now again highlighted that it does not have a subject-verb combination, but here the phrases have only verbs. Now I think it seems a bit confusing that it does not have a subject-verb combination but verbs. Yes, that is why we can identify it as it does not have a subject. The verbs, the phrases focus only on the verb. Let's get going. Now in this phrase, let's get going, I am talking about getting up and going somewhere, but the entire sentence is not formed. Whom am I talking to? Whether I am involved in that particular sentence or not, that is not conveyed. So let's get going is just a phrase with a verb going. Will be working. Now we often say will be working late, will be working early in the morning, but the sentence is not complete in the phrase will be working. The only identification point is working is used as a verb over here, and that is why this becomes a verb phrase. Couldn't wait. We often use this. I couldn't wait to meet you. I couldn't wait to go out in the evening. So couldn't wait is a verb phrase where wait is the verb. But the entire sentence is not complete. As we all know, it does not get completed in phrases. So once again, we will just take a review of verb phrases. Going, working and wait are the verbs used in these phrases, and that is why these three are verb phrases, but identified as phrases only because there is no subject. Third type is the adjective type. Adjective phrases. Adjective, as we all know, is a word used to describe a noun, which is either a quality, quantity, or it shows something very specific about the particular noun. Again highlighted over here is no subject verb combination. As we all know, this has now been fixed in our brains that a phrase does not have a subject verb combination. The focus is on the adjectives. The other words are only helping to complete the meaning related to that adjective, not related to the subject or the verb. Now, let us see the examples of adjective phrases. Very dark. We often use this phrase, very dark night, very dark person, anything. But here, very dark, what is it saying? What is it conveying? Or what is it identifying? We don't know. So that is why very dark is just a phrase with an adjective very, and that is why it identified as an adjective phrase. Pretty young. Here, pretty and young both are adjectives. As we know, we often use these two words to describe a person, that a girl is pretty young or a boy is pretty young, where pretty does not describe the beauty, but it describes the another adjective, that is young. So both are adjectives, and that is why it is an adjective phrase. Very expensive. Expensive and very, both over here, as we know, are adjectives. So these two adjectives are forming a particular phrase, and that is why it is used in phrase without a subject, without a verb. Why? Because it is not identifying or describing a particular thing. It is a general phrase that we use whenever in general conversation with people around. Moving ahead to the next type is adverb phrase. Adverb, as we know, are the words which describe the verb. Adverb, adjective and verb together form adverb. Words describing the action word are called adverb. Now here the phrase tells about the adverb. An adverb is a word that describes or modifies a verb. Let's see the examples of adverb. Really fast. Here fast is a verb. Really is an adverb. How really becomes an adverb is because it is describing the verb fast. Now in this we cannot say that it has a verb, so it is not a phrase. No, because it does not have a subject. It is just a verb and an adverb. It can really fast can be used for a vehicle, for a person running, for a particular animal, anything which is not completed over here. So the complete meaning is not conveyed, and that is why this really fast is just a phrase which describes focuses mainly on the adverb. The next example, super quick. Super quick. Quick is doing something fast. We always use this phrase while asking somebody to work faster. So here it focuses on super quick. So it is an adverb phrase. The motion or how a particular thing should be done, that is focused over here, and that is why it is adverb. Fast asleep. When we say somebody is fast asleep, so asleep is the verb and fast focuses on the manner of sleeping. So here it is a manner showing how the person or a particular animal or human being is asleep, and that is why it is the adverb phrase. Let's move ahead to the next and the last type of phrases, that is prepositional phrase. Now preposition, the word itself says showing position. So preposition conveys that when we use this phrase, we are showing the position of particular noun, subject. The subject obviously will be missing because there is no subject verb combination in the phrase. The phrase uses prepositions to convey the meaning. Like in the very first slide we saw near the bed. Let's go see a few more examples. Near my home. So I am talking about something that is near my home. But what is that particular thing? It is absent over here, and that is why this is just a prepositional phrase. Next is on Sunday. It might be a party on Sunday, holiday on Sunday, outing on Sunday, anything which I have not mentioned, and the sentence remains incomplete. So this on Sunday shows the particular day, time. So this is a prepositional phrase. Under the table. Cat is under the table, the ball is under the table, anything can be under the table. So the subject is absent, the verb is absent, because what action is happening under the table we are not coming to know from this phrase. It is just under the table, where under is the preposition. It's near, on, under, and a few more examples that I'll give you are above, below, next to, behind, in front of are all prepositional words, and when you see such words along with 2-3 other words which have no subject and verb combination, this will be called as prepositional phrases. So we have learned 5 types of phrases: the noun phrase, adjective phrase, adverb phrase, verb phrase, and prepositional phrase. Now moving ahead to the types of clauses. This might be a little more confusing, but it's very easy to understand once we have already studied the phrases. First and the most important thing to remember in this part is that clause has a subject-verb combination. We have to first focus on the sentence, that whether it has a subject and a verb or not. If yes, then the first question is answered, that yes, this is a clause. Now moving ahead. There are 2 types of major clauses, independent clauses and dependent clauses. Let's see. Independent clauses. It can be a complete sentence on its own as it conveys full meaning. Now again something related to meaning has come over here. We will understand it better with examples. She got late, where she is the subject, got is the verb, and late is completing the meaning, that what she has done, she has got late. I ate dinner. The action of eating dinner is done by me, where the I is the subject, ate is the verb, and dinner is the object. The another type is dependent clause. It cannot be a complete sentence as the meaning is not conveyed. Now, the difference between dependent and independent is they both have subject-verb combination, but in dependent clause, the meaning is not conveyed. Now, when we see the first example, due to heavy rain. Now, when I say due to heavy rain, here there is a subject-verb combination. But what happened when we ask the question what, why, who, these answers we cannot get from a dependent clause. After coming home, verb is there, coming, home is there, object is there. After, it is just a connecting conjunction. What happened after coming home? That is not conveyed. I just tell you after coming home. You still with a question mark will be looking at my face that what happened after coming home. But when I combine these two clauses, she got late due to heavy rain. So here the complete meaning is conveyed, that what happened, she got late, and why she got late, due to heavy rain. So when we merge the two clauses, dependent and independent, these two are group of words, when we merge it together, it makes a complete sentence conveying a logical meaning. I ate dinner after coming home. So what did I do after coming home? That answer we get over here, I ate dinner. When these two group of words or these two clauses, independent and dependent, are merged together, we get a complete sentence which answers all our questions with a subject, verb and an object. Let's move ahead and see the types of clauses. Again, the key point to remember over here is it has a subject and verb. This is very important, please do not forget it. Now when we add the sentences or group of words or of the dependent and independent clause, we get a complete meaningful sentence as we saw in the previous slide. She got late due to heavy rain. I ate dinner after coming home. When I came home, you were at the party. If I break these two, when I came home, you were at the party. Now you were at the party seems meaningful, but when I came home, there remains a question mark. When I came home, what happened? It gets answered only when this independent clause, you were at the party, is merged along with it. In the fourth example, after months of research, he finally finished his novel. Now, after months of research, what happened after months of research? Do you have a question mark? Yes, it is answered only when I add part of clause to it. He finally finished his novel, where he is the subject, finish is the verb, and novel is the object. So this is a independent clause, and after months of research is a dependent clause. Remember, we always need to combine dependent and independent clause to get a meaningful sentence. We might not realize this, but whenever we have a conversation or we form sentences in writing a paragraph or essay, these sentences are always made of dependent and independent clause. But we never realize it because we think this is a very basic form, but it is very important. Let's move ahead. So here we summarize the entire video in a few points. Phrases and clauses both are group of words. Phrase is not a subject-verb combination. It is just a group of words which does not convey entire logical meaning. Clause is a subject plus verb combination and it conveys a meaning. Phrases are divided into 5 types depending on the parts of speech it focuses on. Like if it focuses on the noun, it is a noun phrase. If it is focusing on the adjective, it is adjective phrase. If it is focusing on the verb, verb phrase. Focusing on adverb is adverb phrase, and if it shows the position, it is the prepositional phrase. Clauses are mainly divided into two types, dependent and independent clause, referring to the completion of its meaning. We have seen certain examples already. Let's move ahead and do a few exercises so that all your queries are solved. Now here, let's identify whether the following are phrases or clauses. They played well. Can you identify whether this is a phrase or a clause? Yes, I think you guessed it right. They played well, where they is the subject, played is the verb. So it tells us about a group of people who played really well. Can't wait anymore. Any guesses? Yes, this is a phrase. Can't wait anymore. Any guesses what kind of phrase this will be? This will be a verb phrase where it focuses on the verb wait. And can't wait anymore, we use this very often. We can't wait anymore for the movie to start. We can't wait anymore for going shopping. But wait is focused over here and wait is the verb. So this is a verb phrase. As soon as he comes home. This is a clause. Why? Because it has a subject he, it has a verb comes. But it is a dependent clause because the question still remains. What happens as soon as he comes home? I like the cake which has cherries. I is the subject, like is the verb. With the cake which has cherries. This is a phrase, but when it is merged with I like, the entire thing becomes a independent clause conveying the complete meaning of my likings. Whenever you are free. Whenever you are free. This is a dependent clause. You is the subject and free is the verb. But it does not convey the meaning. The question remains, what happens whenever you are free? So that is why this is a dependent clause. So let's see some more examples. Taking my dog for a walk is fun. Here we have to, since we have to identify only the type of phrase, walk is fun is the phrase. And which type of phrase it is? Can you identify? Yes, because walk is a verb, it becomes a verb phrase. Now in this sentence there is also a clause, but let's not concentrate on it because we are identifying only the types of phrases. Signing autographs takes time. Takes time. It is related to the time. It is showing how, the manner. So it is the adverb phrase. The third example, the shops are within walking distance. So within walking distance is a phrase. Why? Within, it shows the area or the focus or how much far away it is. So it is a prepositional phrase. The mouse was really the fourth one is I like the cake with cherries. This example we have already seen in clauses, but here cake with cherries is the phrase. We often use this as an idiom also. Cake with cherries is used to describe something fancy. Cake with cherries is the phrase, noun phrase, because it is describing and mainly focusing on the cake. The last example is the mouse was really fast. Really fast is the phrase used over here and it is an adjective phrase showing the speed of the mouse. Identify the types of clauses. Here we will be identifying whether the clause is a dependent clause or an independent clause. His brother helped me, but I could not score well. I could not score good marks in the exam. Here in this complete sentence there are two clauses, independent as well as dependent. So the main focus will be, first we have to identify the independent clause which has the complete meaning. His brother helped me. This part of the sentence is independent clause. his brother helped me, where his brother is the subject, helped is the verb, and only this much part of the sentence also conveys the meaning that I received help from his brother. Whereas when we see the remaining part, but I could not score good marks in exam, it starts with a conjunction. So there it leaves a question mark for us. What happened? Why? These questions arise when you read this last part of the sentence. So this is a dependent clause. Without the prior independent clause, this becomes meaningless. Always remember, when two clauses are combined, they are combined with some other conjunction. Conjunction are the words that are used to combine two different sentences or clauses. Second one, when I came here, I saw him and I greeted him. Here, the independent clause is I saw him and I greeted him, where I is the subject and greeted is the greeted and saw, both are verbs. So this conveys the complete meaning. I saw him and I greeted him. But when I came here, this is not conveying the complete meaning. It has a subject I, it has a verb came. But when makes us realize that something is missing. What happened when I came here? I saw him and I greeted him. So without this independent clause, the meaning of dependent clause is incomplete. Third one, he was doing the work slowly and carefully. He was doing the work. He was doing the work is independent clause. Conveys complete meaning with he is the subject, doing is the verb. And what he was doing? The work. That meaning is conveyed. But slowly and carefully. Slowly and carefully here is not a dependent clause. It is a phrase. It shows the manner of how the work is done. So this is an adverb phrase over here. Remember, an independent clause can either be merged with a phrase or a dependent clause to complete its meaning. But without the independent clause, the meaning of the entire sentence becomes incomplete. The fourth example is, the book is lying on the table. So here, the book is lying. This is the independent clause where book is the subject and lying is the verb. Now this book can be lying anywhere. So on the table is a phrase. Which phrase? What is it showing? It is showing the position of the book. So this is a prepositional phrase. I will wait here until he completes his assignment. Here, I will wait here is independent clause. I can be waiting for anybody and for any reason. But until he completes his assignment is another dependent clause. Why? Because here also he is the subject and completes is the verb. So this is a dependent clause but does not convey the entire meaning because it is joined with a conjunction until. So only the meaning gets completed with an independent clause. So my dear students, with the end of this video, I feel that you must be now completely aware of this topic, phrases and clauses, and confident enough to solve all the examples on your own. If you like our video, please forward it ahead and share it with your friends. Also, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel Zenith Academy Online, please do it right away. All the best.